Keep in mind that this video can only give you a glimpse of the concepts. There's so much more to learn and explore in the book.
Nah, I can't. I can't do it anymore.
This was me 1 year ago. I had set a goal to complete a marathon without any long-term training. I saw others do it effortlessly and I thought, yeah, I can do that too. I believed all I needed was to lace up my shoes, hit the park a few times, and then sign up for the marathon. I expected huge transformations overnight. But when the immediate results didn't come, I gave up. The truth is, real change happens through the compounding effect of small, consistent actions over time. Reading the incredible book Atomic Habits by James Clear opened my eyes to this reality. Today, let's explore how small, consistent actions can lead to big results and how you can apply these principles to transform your own life. Chapter 1: The Power of Compounding. Let's start by understanding the concept of atomic habits. James Clear defines an atomic habit as a tiny change, a marginal gain, a 1% improvement. But atomic habits are not just any old habits, however small. They are little habits that are part of a larger system. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. James Clear introduces the 1% rule, which emphasizes the power of gradual progress. If you can improve by just 1% each day by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better. On the flip side, getting 1% worse each day can leave you nearly at zero. Imagine the power of compounding interest in finance, the eighth wonder of the world. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you consistently repeat them. This is the magic of small habits compounding over time. 1% better or 1% worse seems insignificant in the moment, but over the span of moments that make up a lifetime, these choices determine the difference between who you are and who you could be. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. Chapter 2: 4 Laws of Behavior Changes. Now that we get how powerful tiny changes can be, let's dive into how you can start harnessing the power of the 1% rule and begin your journey of continuous improvement. And as promised in the title of this video, we'll use running as our go-to example to illustrate these steps. The first law: make it obvious. Every habit is initiated by a cue, and we are more likely to notice cues that stand out. So if you want to start running every morning, make the cues for your new habit of running super obvious in your environment. Lay out your running shoes and clothes the night before and put them right next to your bed. This way they're the first thing you see when you wake up, making it hard to ignore your commitment to run. The more obvious the cue, the better. If you want to practice guitar more frequently, place your guitar stand in the middle of the living room. If you want to drink more water, fill up a few water bottles each morning and place them in common locations around the house. If you want to run every morning, put your running shoes, clothes, and a water bottle right by your bedside. This way, when you wake up, the first thing you see is your gear ready to go. Gradually, your habits become associated not with a single trigger, but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. For instance, if you always run past a particular park, just seeing that park can cue you to think about running. The context itself becomes the cue. It is easier to associate a new habit with a new context than to build a new habit in the face of competing cues. Trying to eat healthier, it is likely that you shop on autopilot at your regular supermarket. Try a new grocery store. You may find it easier to avoid unhealthy food when your brain doesn't automatically know where it is located in the store. When you can't manage to get to an entirely new environment, redefine or rearrange your current one. Create a separate space for work, study, exercise. The second law: make it attractive. We need to make our habits attractive because it is the expectation of a rewarding experience that motivates us to act in the first place. It is the anticipation of a reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. The greater the anticipation, the greater the dopamine spike. This is where something called temptation bundling comes in handy. The idea is to pair something you need to do with something you want to do. For example, even if you don't feel like tackling those overdue work emails, you'll get into the habit if you combine it with something enjoyable. Here's a simple formula for habit stacking and temptation bundling. After current habit, I will habit I need. After habit I need, I will habit I want. So if you want to check Instagram but need to exercise more, you could try. After I pull out my phone, I will do 10 hip bridges. After I do 10 hip bridges, I will check Instagram. Another tip is to join a culture where your desired behavior is normal behavior. New habits seem achievable when you see others doing them every day. Your culture sets your expectation for what is normal. If you want to adopt a healthier diet, try joining a community or group that values nutritious food. This could be a cooking class focused on healthy recipes, an online group sharing meal plans and tips. Seeing others consistently make healthy food choices can motivate you to do the same. If you are surrounded by runners, you're more likely to think of running as a normal part of your routine. The third law, make it easy. First, start small. Choose one tiny habit to begin with. For example, if you want to start running, don't commit to an hour a day. Instead, start with just 5 minutes. The key is to make it so easy you can't say no. Back in 2023, I decided to start running, but instead of committing to an hour a day, I began with just 5 minutes. My first run was only 0.62 kilometers, but that was enough for me. Next, be consistent. A habit needs to be performed regularly to become part of your routine. Remember, consistency over intensity. Don't worry about doing a lot at once, focus on doing a little bit regularly. If you concentrate on doing the small task daily, the results will follow. Again, let's talk about my running journey. Instead of aiming to complete a marathon right away, I changed my goal to run regularly. I didn't pay too much attention to my pace or how many kilometers I could run a day. What I committed to was regular running, not fast or long running. Here are my actual running logs showing my consistency. At first, my results were pretty poor. I could only keep myself running for just 600 meters. But months later, when I looked back at the very first point, I realized how much I had improved. A bonus tip: convert your results into percentages. For example, I can now run 4 kilometers non-stop, not impressed, but if you convert it to a percentage, going from 0.6 kilometers to 4 kilometers means I've improved by more than 500%, and that's something to be really proud of. The fourth law, make it satisfying. We tend to repeat behaviors that give us a sense of satisfaction. On the flip side, if something isn't enjoyable, we usually don't feel motivated to do it again. In today's world, many of the choices we make don't show their benefits right away. For instance, exercising today won't instantly make you fit, but it might help you avoid being overweight next year. Saving money now won't make you rich overnight, but it could ensure a comfortable retirement decades down the line. This is what scientists call a delayed return environment. You have to wait a long time to see the results of your efforts. Put another way, the costs of your good habits are in the present. The costs of your bad habits are in the future. The trick to making a habit stick is to feel a sense of accomplishment, even if it's just a small one. Feeling successful signals that your effort paid off and was worth it. One effective strategy is reinforcement, which means giving yourself a small immediate reward to encourage you to keep up the behavior. So to wrap up, we've covered some important lessons today. Every habit is initiated by a cue. Make it obvious. Immerse yourself in a supportive culture to help your habit stick. Start small, be consistent, focus on the process, celebrate your small wins. Remember, it's all about making small changes that add up to big results over time. I'll leave you with a quote from one of the greatest runners, Eliud Kipchoge. I am confidently saying that consistency is the key if you want to grow in any profession. Only the disciplined ones in life are free. If you are undisciplined, you are a slave to your moods and your passions. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching and happy running!